Hello, everyone. I know it's been a hot minute since I last posted a video. Um, I got carried away to do something else, and I'm now back. There's this story that has been trending in the Ghanaian space for a long time. I tried to do a video about it a few days back, which I posted, but I want to elaborate further on the story so that people get a better understanding of what is happening so that I can hear what your views and opinions are on the whole thing. So the story goes like there's a man who is a well talented musician called Daddy Lumba who comes from Ghana, and he actually goes to start his music career, or it takes off properly in Germany. Now, what led to it taking off was that when he got to Germany, he met a woman who would later become his wife. Lumba was Mr. Nobody at this point. His music hadn't hit, he hadn't had no hits. His music was out there, but it wasn't really doing anything. And because of that, yes, he could sing, but he didn't have no money, no name to his music, his brand. He met this amazingly beautiful woman who decided to invest her money into his music to make him him. She built him a brand with her money, supported and helped to promote his music until it hit the charts and he made his mark. He married this woman traditionally in Ghana and then followed that up with an ordinance marriage in the year 2004 in Germany. They had three children together, a son and two daughters. In 2006, Daddy Lumba started frequenting Ghana. And now it's obvious that the reason why he was doing that was because he had met a younger woman and had started dating her and having children with her, unbeknownst to the wife initially. With his frequent traveling in and out of town, he finally decided in 2013 that he wanted to relocate to Ghana to help himself recover from a spinal injury and subsequent surgery and treatment that he'd undergone. He goes to live in Ghana, telling his wife that he was only going to get better and was going to come back. The wife stays back, tends to the mortgage they had in Germany, their German matrimonial home with the three children, being a single mom, trying to raise those children. By the time Daddy Lumba started frequenting Ghana in 2006, their youngest child was still breastfeeding. But Lumba left to go back to Ghana because of his selfish gains, his selfish reasons. He'd met another woman, he wanted to have more children, and so he went to her. The $1 million question is, why did he just simply not divorce his first wife so that he was then clear to go and be with whoever he wanted to be with? But Lumba did not do that. He moves to Ghana, meets this woman, and they end up having 6 children over a course of about 15 years of being together. Of course, he never divorces his wife, even though when she found out about the other woman and the children, she had asked him for a divorce, but Lumba refused to give his German legal wife a divorce. Unfortunately, he met his death in July of 2025, and this is where all hell has broken loose because the family head, in cohorts with the side chick, are trying to suggest that the wife was no longer the wife because she had written to ask for a divorce, which Lumba never gave her. And so she's no longer a wife. And because this one had lived with him for all those years and had 6 children, that automatically makes her a wife. This infuriates the legal wife because of all the work and the marriage and the investment and the assets that they had jointly acquired together, some of which she was sitting in Ghana and enjoying with a side piece. On his death, and on the family letting her know that she's not deemed a legal wife, she takes the matter to court to ascertain whether she is indeed a legal wife or not, and therefore the only wife surviving Lumba. The case goes to court. The judge promises that she's going to be swift and quick with passing judgment. We were all excited that she was going to do the right thing. Even though I know that the judicial system in Ghana is questionable, I thought that because of the precedent that was going to be set with this case, a high-profile case, which has international awareness and viewing. And so I was hopeful that the right thing was going to be done. Unfortunately, after just 2 weeks of hearing both sides, the judge decides to say that the marriage certificate that the legal wife provided from Germany, together with all the supporting documents to substantiate her claim that she was legally married, the judge had said that that marriage was fake and she couldn't accept that the documents that were submitted were legitimate. So she threw that part of the case out of court. You would have thought that it would have ended there because that was the substance of the issue that was brought to court. But she goes on to say, because the legal wife was married traditionally, customarily in Ghana, she still is made a wife. However, because that kind of marriage is potentially polygamous, and even though there was no evidence to substantiate the fact that the side chick was also made a wife traditionally, the court still ruled that she also be made a wife. And so there are two widows, as far as the Ghanaian court deems it, and both of them should be recognized as wives and allowed to go through the widowhood rites in Ghana at Lumba's funeral, to the displeasure of many, to the disappointment of many, including myself, because I have always believed in the institution of marriage, and especially ordinance marriage, and always thought that it was a kind of marriage that had high regard and recognition internationally. And once you are into that kind of a marriage, the man and woman are not allowed to have anybody else. And so you are protected as a couple under the law. But the Ghanaian law refused to accept a German certificate of marriage simply on the basis that the bride and groom's signatures were missing from the document. You see, in Ghana, the marriage certificate has the signature of the bride and groom and the witnesses on one form. However, in most of the Western world, it is never like that. There is no marriage certificate that has any other signatures than the registrar of the marriage alone that signs that document. It looks as if the judicial system was ignorant of what documents are acceptable internationally. And instead of admitting to that ignorance and therefore pursuing the truth to find what is right, they decided to close the case, not even deal with the substance of the case, but to go off balance and start talking about issues that were never raised as a problem or as a matter in court to begin with. If fake documents are issued in evidence in any good jurisdiction or court of law, people get put behind bars. There are consequences for these actions. But in that country called Ghana, that never happened. Nobody's head is rolling. Nobody is being thrown in jail for providing fake, so called fake documents. This has now left the widow, the legal widow, having to go back to court and appeal the decision at a higher court with all the legal fees and all the rest of it that is coming out on the back of that. It's a very painful experience. And instead of people actually empathizing with this widow that has endured so much disregard, disrespect throughout the pendency of her marriage and beyond, and always having to deal with side pieces that her husband chose to have, who acted in impunity, shared disregard for her feelings and her person. Even after his death, the same disrespect is continuing to happen. But in all of this, the only person that can truly be blamed is Daddy Lumba. If he loved his wife, he would have provided for her. He would have protected her, and he would have professed her as his wife. He would have adored the ground that she walked on and treated her with the dignity and respect that could only be accorded a queen like her, because she sacrificed everything. She put it all on the line in the name of love to make her husband a legend in music. But alas, when he got his rightful place as a musical legend, he forgot the legs that he had to walk on, the neck that held his head together to make him him. He forgot all about that. He sang many beautiful songs, claiming that he loved her so much, she was the best thing that ever happened to him. But his actions were not commensurate with what he said with his mouth in music. He allowed his side pieces to treat her with disdain. And now that he's passed away, there is a side chick, a mistress with 6 children, who lived in the house that she and her husband had built together, and now thinks that she's the best thing that happened in this life, that she has the right to call the shots as to what happens going forward. Now she would also want to lay claim to Lumba's assets and stands to gain a lot more because she has 6 whole children with him. There's a lot of controversies around how he died and why he died and what happened to him and all of those things. Those are for different videos. But today, my single question is love even worth it? Is it worth it to love somebody, Mr. Nobody, and make them Mr. Somebody in the name of love? Is it worth it to sacrifice your sweat, blood, and tears for a man born of a woman that could betray you tomorrow and go off with somebody else? You know, from what I've seen, the little that I've seen in this life, when a man is poor, his tone, his persona, his demeanor, the way he behaves is different. Once his hand reaches his back, once he stands on his 2 feet and becomes rich, affluent, gets a position or a standing in life, the way he talks, speaks, behaves is also very different. Very few people have the wisdom to remember where they came from and to allow that reality to ground them and make them realize that they are nobody without whoever supported them. So my question again, is it worth it as a woman to bother loving anybody? Is it worth it sacrificing anything to support a man? Are you not safer building your own self, building your own empire, building your own castles, investing in yourself, and doing that which is necessary to give you a brighter future? What is the point of marriage today if this is the sort of disrespect and disregard that is going to be given to marriage on the back of this case? A dangerous precedent has been set. Wives have to advise themselves accordingly, that there's a good chance that you would work hard with your husband over many years, sacrifice so many things, deny yourself the pleasures of this life to create generational wealth that goes through, years and generations. In one fell swoop, a side chick from nowhere, met by your husband, indisciplined man that isn't able to zip it. And in one fell swoop, you could lose everything that you laid down your very life for to make happen. Marriage is no longer worth a piece of paper anymore. So the $1,000,000 question is, to Ghanaian men, what is the point? What is the point? Everybody who knows me knows that I'm pro-love, I'm pro-marriage, I'm pro-everything. But if marriage is going to be treated with this level of disregard and disrespect, and women are still expected to be the usual slaves and the people that sacrifice everything under the auspices of duties of a wife, but men are never held to that same standard, that they also have duties to perform as husbands, to profess, protect, and provide for their families. But women are always held to such high standards. Sweep the house, clean the house, cook for your husband, give him good, intimacy in bed. When he's sick, clean him up, stand by his side for everything through thick and thin. And yet the same couldn't be said for Lumba, standing for Akosua Serwaa through thick and thin when she needed it. When she needed him the most was when he turned his back to her. And so guys, let me know in the comment section how you answer my question. Answer my question and let me know. People keep going on and on about, oh, she abandoned her matrimonial bed. She abandoned her husband for 19 years. But the matrimonial home was in Germany. So he left her to do his own thing. Didn't pay no attention to her feelings, nothing. And did what he did with iniquity and impunity. Guys, I want to know what you have to say. Please share this video. Please like, comment. God bless you as you listen to the story. Pick a thing or two and let me know what the lessons that you've learned out of all of it are. And let's have this discourse. God bless you. I love you so much. Bye for now.